We just got one of the most wild cutscenes in not only Call of Duty Zombies, but all of Call of Duty that just came out today, which is the cinematic for Liberty Falls. And the amount of story that is intertwined in this cutscene, but not just this cutscene, but also the ending of Modern Warfare Zombies, all tied together to paint a story for the new map coming in Black Ops 6, which is Liberty Falls, is absolutely mind-blowing. And to be clear, normally when I make story videos about Call of Duty, I am talking about the campaign, the characters and that kind of thing. But you guys made it clear on one of my previous videos that you want to see more zombies story videos. So that is what we are doing today. And if you want to see more videos like this one, the way to show me is by hitting that like button. The more likes this video gets, the more likely I am to do more zombies videos like this one. So as I mentioned, the amount of story in here is wild. The way that they have tied together the Modern Warfare Zombies directly into Liberty Falls taking place in 1991 is insane. And in this video, I am going to explain exactly what is going on, trying to keep it simple and making it so you guys can easily understand what is going on here. So without further ado, let's dive into the cutscenes and I will explain to you guys exactly what is going on and exactly how the Modern Warfare Zombies and Black Ops 6 Zombies actually cross over. So starting off with the Modern Warfare Zombies story, we have a character by the name of Ava Jansen. She is the main character within Modern Warfare Zombies. I'm not going to go into the entirety of the story of Modern Warfare Zombies, but one of the big takeaways from this is kind of halfway through the story, we found out that Ava Jansen has two mothers. Her real mother, the one that donated the eggs, if you will, is Samantha Maxis, whereas her surrogate mother is Elizabeth Gray. Her father is Ravenov. Okay, we know that. So as far as Samantha Maxis goes, we know she is stuck in the ether. Banished there, been there for a long time, some presume dead, but we will come back to that. We also know Part 2, Elizabeth Gray was found dead in the year 2021 at the very beginning of the zombie storyline. There was this strange kind of Ethereum thing in the middle of a table, and we saw Weaver and we saw Elizabeth Gray dead. Also, that cutscene that we saw before was taken in the year 1996, in other words, 5 years after the events of Liberty Falls, and those were Gray's last words to Jansen. This cutscene at the end of Modern Warfare Zombies picks up in Liberty Falls in West Virginia. At this time, Jansen is doing some research on Project Janus, which is of course the code name for Black Ops 6 Zombies, when she gets a call from Papa. Ravenov calls her and we get to see that she is looking at some schematics for some zombies things. The first one is the Wunderwaffe, the other one I don't know what it is, but then she opens a Project Janus file. Now I haven't seen many people talk about this file in too much detail. Off to the left you can see a picture of Ricktoffen, which we will come back to, but this is an interview between a subject by the name of Kay Miller, in other words Crystal Miller, and the interviewer John Blanchard. Again, we will come back to that character. As you read through this interview, you find out about a 5-year-old who is seemingly having tests done on her. More frequently, we find out that Mummy and Daddy, in other words, Crystal's parents, are dead. They were killed in Oliver's comic book store, which is obviously a part of the zombies story. So, this is not the only child we know was at Liberty Falls, because guess who else was at Liberty Falls? Also, Ava Jansen. She was also there as a child, and we will come back to that fact. However, we first have to have a look at what else happens in this cutscene. The next thing we see is as Ava Jansen walks by the mirror, something appears. A character seemingly in a cowboy hat with seemingly Liberty Falls in the background. Some are assuming this to be the Shadow Man, but I believe it was Mr. Dalek JD pointed out something different. Let me show you what he said.
However, I am not totally convinced that this is the Shadow Man, as I actually believe this is a brand new character that gets mentioned right at the very end of the Entity boss fight. As you hear there, the entity, which is Dark Ava, mentions that he is searching for you. The Shadow Smiths will take you.
So it would make actually a lot more sense based off of the kind of different hat that this is not the Shadow Man, but a Shadow Smith, which may actually be a brand new group of villains coming to zombies. And then we get towards the end of the cutscene, and by the very end, this is what Ava ends up saying and what ends up happening to her. This is incredibly important.
Liberty Falls is even more of a one-horse town than I'd suspected.
Why? Ava, listen. You must leave that place. It is not safe. Are you there? Ava?
Is that you?
Ava. Ava!
So Ava thinks she recognizes her mother, Samantha Maxis, coming out of the dark ether, where, as we talked about, we knew she was trapped. Well, this is where the other half of the cutscene comes in, the Liberty Falls cutscene that happened today. So in this cutscene, we see Edward Ricktoffen wake up from a nightmare. And at this time, we get to see where and when this is taking place. Once again, we are in West Virginia in Liberty Falls on February 18th, 1991. So we know a date. It is 5 years before that last message from Elizabeth Gray. Then we see Ricktoffen run to a terminal where he finds out that something is going wrong from a doctor who he's working with at Liberty Falls. I actually believe that we know who this is. So in an image from another part of that cutscene that we saw in Modern Warfare Zombies, we see a note from a doctor by the name of Dr. Panos, who I believe is who we see in the Liberty Falls cutscene. And specifically, this paper is to senior team management, and it talks about how something is going wrong with Edward Ricktoffen. His mind isn't totally there, and he's kind of losing it, and things are starting to go wrong with Project Janus. And we're going to come back to Project Janus, don't you worry. So after everything goes wrong, it appears as though an ether portal opens up in the lab, and immediately Ricktoffen pulls out the Wonderwolf. He fights his way through some zombies, but not before running into one of his security detail, someone by the name of Blanchard. You may recognize that name because, again, if we go back to that Modern Warfare Zombies cutscene, that is the name of the person that we saw on the paper before interviewing Crystal Miller. So after our characters fight through a bunch of zombies, which, by the way, I'm really wondering if Ricktoffen is going to be the character that we play as throughout Liberty Falls. We have not had that confirmed whatsoever. Eventually, he makes his way to an elevator, which he has to authorize his admittance into the elevator. Where things go crazy is once he gets into the elevator. So this is what happens.
I swear to you, son, you'll never be free!
But Edward, I already am.
So Samantha goes full GLaDOS mode in her little sphere that she is in, saying that she is already free. Again, this is the same sphere that we saw before at the end of the Black Ops Cold War story that Samantha Maxis was actually banished to. So we know she's been in there in the dark ether the entire time, being held inside this sphere. But she says that she is already free, which actually supports the fact that she went into the future, grabbed her daughter Ava Jansen, and pulled her into the dark ether. Therefore, kind of making this time loop where Ava Jansen can be in Liberty Falls in the year 1991 as a child, but also as an adult pulled in by Samantha Maxis, at least in the dark ether portion of 1991. I know, confusing, right? The other theory that I had the first time that I watched this is, to me, it just didn't look like a female hand. So I was wondering, based off of like the kind of white dress shirt on the hand, maybe this is actually Edward Ricktoffen pulling in Ava because he needs help to do something with Samantha Maxis. That would also support that as well, because it kind of looks like Samantha Maxis pulls Ricktoffen into the dark ether as well during that cutscene that we saw. So I think it's one of those two options, but we do know that Ava is going back to 1991. So that pretty much explains the end of the story in Modern Warfare Zombies and how it fits into Liberty Falls with the cutscene that we got today. However, I wanted to run one more theory by you guys in regards to what Project Janus actually is. If we go back to that piece of paper where they're interviewing Crystal Miller, we find out that she is only 5 years old. That's around the age that Ava Jansen was at the original Liberty Falls and Project Janus, when she was there to begin with, when she was birthed and brought up by Ravenov and Elizabeth Gray. Okay, we know that. So there's 2 kids amongst the same age. I am wondering if it is possible that Ava and this Crystal Miller person are actually sisters. They are both birthed from Samantha Maxis, surrogated by 2 different people, hence the different last name. So what if Project Janus is actually Ricktoffen trying to make more versions of Samantha Maxis? It's out there, but it's a possibility. Let me know what you think of this theory, and as I said in the beginning of the video, if you like these zombie story videos and want to see more on the channel, show me by hitting that like button, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of the good jazz. We have Call of Duty next right around the corner, which I will be at covering on the channel with Liberty Falls gameplay. So if you want to stay up to that, make sure you're subscribed, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're